Welcome to Chef LaWanda Studio. I hope you enjoy the videos. Hey, I'm Chef LaWanda, and welcome to the first of many, I hope, videos. Tonight I'm going to be preparing a Carne Guisada dish, but I hope you enjoy it. First of all, I'm going to give you a chance to get your pads and pens together if you want to take some notes down. So, give you a moment for that and then we'll get started. Okay, once again, we're going to be preparing a Carne Guisada made with pork. It's a Carne Guisada. I've used this before when I made my Carne Guisada. Some people use beef. You can even use meat. Carne is Spanish for meat, so it doesn't really matter what kind that you use as long as you stick to the recipe that you're after. And mine is going to be Carne Guisada. As you can see, I have poblano peppers, we got onion, got bell pepper, and we got red pepper. So I'm going to be using all these ingredients in my Carne Guisada, and not to mention the infamous garlic. We're also going to be using cilantro for one of our seasonings also. So let's get started. First of all, let's cut up the vegetables. Notice I have this cutting board here, and a word of safety when it comes to the cutting boards. Make sure that your cutting board is stable when you're working on it. I worked in the food industry for a while, and I can't tell you how many people have accidents with the cutting board slipping once they start. Here, I have put on a damp paper towel to stabilize the cooking board. I love cooking with poblano peppers. I don't know, because it just gives my food a pretty good flavor. If any of you recognize me, I've been cooking on helping out my daughter, What You Cooking Glenda, and I want to give a shout out to her. I've been asked several times, why don't you start your own cooking channel? Why don't you start your own cooking channel? Well, okay, here we go. I'm starting my own cooking channel. So here we go. Let's cut up the poblano peppers. I wanted everything in sort of like squares. The square bites. You want to be able to see it in your meats. I hope everybody's got their pen and pad. See, we want all of it to be, the vegetables to be about this size, including the onions. I'm using this whole poblano pepper, but I'm not going to use all of the bell pepper that I'm using. We don't want to turn this into a pepper dish. I prefer to have a tray, but right now I'm just going to use this dish here. I think that was a bell pepper seed that fell in there. So I'm going to put the whole dish, the whole package of meat, and I think this is like a 2-pound, almost a 2-pound bag of this meat. So it looks like, actually this looks like the cut for like chili. So this is how coarse this is. It's not like ground meat, but it's like cut like chili. You can see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to season this meat. I always like to keep a little. So I'm going to cut the stove on to a medium high and add olive oil. There we go. This is actually about a quarter cup of olive oil in here. Just a little bit, cover at the bottom of the pan, just a little bit more than just the bottom. So we're going to use the seasonings I'm going to use. Is a little seasoning salt. Remember, we're going to season it to your own taste. I'm going to say there was about a teaspoon of season oil. Then I'm going to put granulated garlic powder. Same, about a teaspoon of that all over the meat. Some people asked, why don't you season your meats after it's done? I find that you get a better flavor if you season it before it hits the heat. That way the seasonings can cook and blend into the food naturally. This is onion powder. I'm going to put about the same amount of onion powder because let's face it, we have fresh garlic. I got fresh onions already, so we're just going to enhance the flavor with these seasonings that I'm using right now. This is black pepper. Put a few sprinkles of black pepper in here. A little flour here. And even though I do like to cook with my hands, this method right here, the procedure right here, for me, I would rather have some gloves on for that. I sprinkled about 2 tablespoons of flour on this meat because in the end, I want this to render a little thickness like gravy. So once it starts to cook, it's going to get like golden brown, and we're going to add some stock to it. Turn the fan on here because it's going to get really smoky in here after a while. You see here, but we got the meat in. I'm going to flip it over. You can see the brownness that's going on. Once I flip this over, then I'm going to add the vegetables that I cut up earlier. A 10-ounce can of Rotel diced tomatoes that we're going to be using also later for this recipe. I love the flavor of cumin, but you know, cumin can be a little overpowering, so you need to make sure that you don't do a lot. Just enough to the taste. Some people may like a lot, but I personally don't care for a whole lot. That's about a half a teaspoon that I've shaken in there already. I'm going to go ahead and add my vegetables to this. It's smelling so good right now. Like I said, I love the freshness, the taste of fresh garlic. So what I'm going to do is add some fresh garlic to this. This is like 3 garlic cloves. I'm going to turn this down on a medium now. It's not the most expensive press, but it works for me. You'll find that in cooking with me, you'll find I have a lot of methods of cutting corners when it comes to manual cooking, because I got Arthur and Rumi that keeps hanging out with me, and they don't let me do a lot of things I used to do. There was a time back where I could just take a chef's knife and just but now listen, it gets the job done. It really does. But the smell, I wish you guys were here to smell this. This smells so good. We're going to let that cook a little bit, but at the same time, another surprise to this recipe is going to be fried potatoes. Let me get back to you on that. Okay, as this continues to cook, you guys can see that's one good thing also about this pork, is that it doesn't render a lot of fat. The only fat that you see is the olive oil that I put in there. Here, you want to have a little gravy thickness, but not a lot. So while I was away, I peeled like about 3 small red potatoes. And what we're going to do, I'm going to fry them up separately, and you'll see it's going to be so great. We're going to add our rotel tomatoes. We're going to add our chicken bouillon flavoring. That's why I say, be easy with the seasons, because a lot of these already have salt. This has salt in it. This has salt in it. So if you're watching your salt intake, be sure to make sure that you season it to your taste. I'm going to add also a can of water, maybe 1 cup of water. Cover it. Ooh, that is so good. And also we have cilantro. I don't have fresh cilantro because I cook enough for myself. So for me to buy fresh cilantros, it really goes bad most of the time. So I always try to get what is going to last me. So I'm putting about a tablespoon of cilantro and cover it up. Here we go. The potatoes, 3 small red potatoes. And they cut up like French fry style. We're going to go ahead and just add them into the oil like I'm cooking French fries, right? You want them to get a golden brown, just like I'm cooking home-style fries. I'm going to add a little salt. And some black pepper. Yes, while they're frying in the oil. Yes, I am. And so far, I hope you guys are liking it. If you do like, press like, share, because I have a lot of things to offer. I'm a scratch cooker, for one. And, like I said, I've cooked a few things on What You Cooking, Glenda. She's amazing. She's an amazing daughter. And she allowed me to cook a few things on her channel. And I enjoyed it a lot. Set them aside. I'm cooking on an electric heat, so a lot of times when you want to remove something on electric heat, you need to hurry up and get it off, because as you know, anybody that cooks with electric heat, that it's going to be still cooking. once you cut it off. Look at those French fries. Oh my God. Them the kind you can eat with some, eat these potatoes here with salmon croquettes and syrup. Suck it up in that syrup. But okay, we're going to set these to the side, and we're going to add them eventually to the Carne Guisada. Cut that stove off because it is still hot over here. Let's check out the meat here. And oh my God, this is so good. So I'm going to let this cook a little more with the top off so it can cook down a little bit more. I may even add a little more flour to thicken it up also. Especially if I'm going to put this in the taco. Yeah, we don't want it running out. So I'm going to add a little more flour. Just sprinkle a little more flour on it. I think a total of maybe a half a cup I've used throughout this whole dish. But look at that. Look. Oh my God, look at that. I'm going to get ready to end this dish right now. I'm going to go ahead and add the potatoes so you guys can see the end result of this right now. You want to put this between taco. It could be corn tortilla. It can be flour tortilla. Peppers. The meat. Let's see what that tastes like. Let me see, because it's hot. You see the steam coming from it? Very hot. Give this a really good taste test for you guys. Those peppers, onions, potatoes. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. The more I chew into it, the more I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The flavors, oh my goodness. I wouldn't change anything about this recipe. It has the perfect amount of seasonings for it. The potatoes are just holding up just perfect. You saw I cut that with just a fork. We don't want it to get mushy, but this is so good. This is Chef LaWanda at her studio, and I hope you have a blessed and wonderful evening. Thank you. See you later.